And welcome to the old Fontana Hilton. Last northbound camp before the permit area. So I've been sitting here working in the dark on videos for the last couple hours. It's funny, you hear moisture coming down and like wet leaves falling and the occasional branch since it's so quiet. I have heard things moving around in the woods. I keep thinking back to that guy that was coming north in the BMT who said he was pretty sure it was just leaves falling around him, and then he noticed there was like a bear sniffing around his hammock. Haven't caught sight of anything though. There was this odd, distinct smell when I got here. Really not sure what it was, and it faded, so I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with a pack of wild hogs in the area or something. Nice campsite though. This is about the nicest night and morning I could have asked for out here. So it is a little after 9 a.m. I thought I was going to get going a little sooner this morning, but the last message from last night was from Jen on the InReach saying there was an issue at the hike in. They had a car breakdown, so staying there is not an option, and that we needed to confirm once I was in cell range. So that is usually bad. That usually either means the options are complicated, like I have to hitch, and she tends to be more adverse to that than me. Or else there's an option, but it is so expensive, she just wants to make sure it's worth it. There is some sort of a lodge in Fontana Dam. I think we picked up a package there when I came through on the AT. Or maybe I'm confusing lodges. There's a good amount there. I do have enough food where I could stay out for an extra day. I am getting a little low on power because I've been talking too much on camera, but there is a visitor center at Fontana Dam, so I could always charge up there if I needed to stretch a bit. The big news today is, of course, the joyous fact that I am putting Smoky Mountain National Park behind me in about 10 miles when I reach Fontana Dam, meaning I should be able to be a lot more flexible on when I hike and where I camp going forward. Oh, it is pretty here in the fog. Don't get me wrong, Smokies are quite pretty, but having done the AT and now the Benton route through the park, I'm not feeling really compelled to come back here. The restricted camping is just more of a stressor than I prefer. It wasn't that bad on the AT, where basically you just fill out a permit at the entry and then you can stay at any shelter you want, with the negative restriction to me that you are supposed to stay inside of any of the shelters unless it is full. At the time, I was trying to strategize. Okay, I want to find the busiest shelters so I can go out and tent outside and not get yelled at by a ranger. And then COVID came along and fixed that problem for me. And obviously the restrictions here aren't that bad, as long as you don't mind the higher risk of bears at the busier campsites. I just have spent a lot of time camping over the last couple of years. I mean, this is more home than any of the places we stay during the off season. And similar to the campgrounds we lived in during the off season for a while, I have just become more and more adverse to lack of privacy, inconsiderate folks being loud, things like that. I enjoy my time in camp, in the tent, having my own space. And I attribute that, and at least partially, to why I've outlasted certain others as far as the amount of time I've spent on trail without taking a break for a year or anything like that. Honestly, other than the fact it keeps Jen and I apart more than we would prefer, I am almost always happier and feeling healthier when I'm out on the move. Even when I'm just like run down to a nub, like, Kansas or some of the rougher sections, there's a certain amount of near contentment I reach just being exhausted and pushing myself day after day. Think how good it feels to go and like work out in the gym for an hour, and then keep in mind that I am working out 8 to 10 hours a day carrying this pack. And I mean, we are generally pretty active people. Even when we're around civilization, we're hiking, climbing, doing whatever we can, but it's just hard, at least for us. I mean, I worked my butt off to do as much as I could when I was still in IT land. For a 5-year period, most weekends I was, during the spring, summer, fall, I was flying back from Boise, Idaho, where I was working. I would land by 5, meet a carpool by 7, drive up to the Sierra, spend 2 or 3 days, drive back, often get home after midnight, and I'd be on the 6:45 flight back to Boise to work for another week, just because I really wanted to get out, and I really loved the wilderness class and the stuff I was doing out there. When I was working as a consultant, I traveled heavily for work for 7-8 years maybe, which was fun, especially since, like, growing up we didn't travel a lot except to go see family back in Texas. But it wears on you, and I went through trying to like walk outside the hotel in the morning, do the gym, trying to adjust what I was eating when I was at like client dinners and things as much as I could, and I just never hit anywhere where I was happy and felt healthy. I haven't even thought about my lower back for the last month I've been out here, which is a far sight from where I was when I was off trail. Even doing a bunch of PT exercises I was given helped a little, but Blaze did say she does see positive outcomes for back pain when people go out and through hike. Obviously that would depend on you not having too much weight, and there are always the vagaries of doing something funny and tweaking a muscle, but hey, I would fully agree with that statement at the moment. It was so bad for a while there, I had actually talked to a spinal surgeon. It took me forever to get the MRI due to hospitalization, yada yada. Eventually got to talk to him, and he's like, yeah, this is what it is, L1, S5, and it's not bad, it's just decaying. Welcome to getting old. Eventually you'll probably need a replacement. And we did validate a little, what if we just went forward with that surgery, just on account of a lot of the things we want to do. Yukon, some of the Europe stuff, a lot of the diving put us further out, so if I had a major issue, that could be problematic, but it just didn't seem worth the trade-off. For a little bit there, I was seriously like, maybe I should just get it done. I'm stuck around town anyway. Once these immunosuppressants go off and I can heal, I just get it done. This year's a disaster, but kind of similar to Jen's surgery. Maybe we just get everything dealt with and we can move on with our lives and adventures. And I know people that say they really regretted back surgery. However, I also had heard that a lot about knee surgery. And the only reason I am out here doing this is I got a microfracture surgery back in 2015 after years of having an injury that really hurt, that made it just miserable to walk around town. I was gaining weight. I had to stop caving and rock climbing. It was just miserable. And everybody was saying, oh yeah, don't get surgery, don't get surgery. It's never as good as new. And then a friend said, it really doesn't matter if it's good as new. It matters, are you able to get the quality of life you want? And if the answer is no, will the surgery get you there? Well, even if there are trade-offs from the factory install, that's worth it. And I have taken that to heart, and each time I go into a doctor now, I am explicit and loud about, this is the quality of life, this is what I need to get back to. Whatever I need to do to make it that far, that is what we're going to do. Still, conservative, don't want to cause more issues than we fix, but that has at least so far resulted in good outcomes. Because, doctors are human too. They see a lot of people, and for a good amount of people, back to healthy is just being able to, get around town and play with their kids or do this, that, or the other. If you want/need to be able to do other stuff, that is a conversation to have up front. With the knee doctor in particular, it took me quite a while and seen multiple doctors before I found one that was more aimed at sports medicine. He was actually the knee doctor for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, or whatever the hell they're called these days. And, we went through the process and did the surgery that he recommended. And, I have managed to walk my butt across the country a couple of times here, even if I still have what I would call bad knees. Only saw one person all yesterday. Just ran into somebody this morning who actually recognized me, though. Everybody still thinks I'm back in Vermont because of the video lag. So I guess this is Lost Cove. There's been a couple of sites scattered around, so maybe it would not have been too bad, but gonna have a hard time convincing me something was better than Possum Hollow. That was such a nice night. So I was worried it was just going to be this, but there were a couple of individual sites that were actually on the other side of the creek and back a ways. I don't know how far away they can be from the actual marked site and still be legal, but at least based on what I've seen and what others have told me, it does not look like enforcement is really a thing back here. Hey, Fontana Dam. Hey, what do you know? A viewpoint. Kind of. I guess this all dates back to when there was settlements and road access back here. I've seen a handful of these. I assume they're a bear trap or something similar. Okay, should be the Appalachian Trail junction somewhere around here. Okay, I vaguely remember this. Made it really easy on us. There was a permit stand around here somewhere. Oh good, noro outbreak. seem to recall this being all rainy and more epic looking when I was here before, and less empty. Sure enough, I don't have any video on my phone anymore, but here's a picture from when I crossed Fontana Dam northbound on the AT in 2021. As much as I enjoyed the AT, it still makes no sense where it starts and stops. I swear my town trips on this journey are never as simple as I hope they'll be. So yeah, the hike-in's car broke down. Looks like a couple other options are either booked or can't come get me till a lot later. And I still have jack all for connectivity here. So keep walking till that changes, I guess. It is really frustrating to have cell reception, but not have anything go through. And welcome to the old Fontana Hilton. Last northbound camp before the permit area. I will say, I was kind of looking forward to getting out here without crowds, but there is a certain vibrancy of running around here in season. People going all over. Hey, piracy. Bathrooms, trash, and a notoriously unreliable solar panel. Okay, the nice simple stop at the hike-in is not going to work. Other things are booked. I think Hawk from the AT, the guy that's done it like way too many times, has a cabin here, but the pickup time was going to be kind of wonky, so I think it's off to Fontana Village. This has the noted advantage of letting me hike another 4 miles and change, and then I can drop into the resort. See, my favorite town stops are where I can just kind of like walk in, get a nice private hotel in a big chain with really solid walls that has laundry and either food close by, or hell, I'll even do Domino's. There were 2 other hikers that came by while I was sitting at the shelter. Apparently there's going to be like 3 or 4 people staying there tonight by all accounts. There's also some weird disinformation about Smokies permits going around. There were hikers claiming that the website wasn't functional, but I mean, we used it for my permit originally, and I was on it just last night checking camp status. Interestingly enough, I had enough reception that I could get the AT guide downloaded on Far Out, and it looks like the marina that I used to resupply when I was through here before is no longer operating as a resupply spot. You can go there and they have like Wi-Fi and drinks or something, but no longer has food. Fontana Village does have a general store. Seems kind of mixed as far as how good a resupply that is. I have about a day and a half worth of food plus 2 dinners on me right now, so if it gets me forward, I can get creative. Unfortunately, the BMT is going west from here, so it gets a little more remote. If I was just following the AT, like the place where Craig's cabin is, I could walk to that pass and get a free pickup tomorrow. Didn't look like there were many options for at least a little while on the route I'm going. See, this was supposed to be my nice, easy resupply town stop at the hike-in, and then the next stop is Reliant Fish and Tackle, so I think that was just a grab stuff and go sort of thing. At least at the moment, though, I'm feeling like I'm doing stronger than I was, so combined with the relaxation of not having to worry about Smokies campsites anymore, I am feeling rather positive. Also, this is the best view of the lake I've had. The Lakeshore Trail did not ever show me a good view of the water, I don't think. I don't know what it is with off-season hikers and bear spray out here. I don't feel like I saw it nearly as much on the AT and 21. I mean, you always get a few people or somebody who's been given it because their non-hiking relatives are convinced that there are like grizzly bears everywhere. I was chatting with those folks who came into Burnt Spruce the other night due to the bear. They were hoping I had bear spray, and I was trying to explain that, yeah, spraying it at that bear that was hanging, 15 feet away would have done a lot more damage to us versus the bear. Plus sides, our screams might have driven him off after that, I guess. Just met somebody named Buster, and I am totally a bad influence. Because anytime anybody is like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to do XYZ, I'm always giving the testimonials about, oh yeah, absolutely, throw everything to the wind. Because it doesn't get easier as you get older, and your health is only going to get more challenging over time. But they were really fun to talk to. It's fun to talk to enthusiastic hiker people. That was one of the things I really enjoyed about doing the AT and getting to Springer and getting all those kind of new folks. I've had a few encounters like that out here, but some percentage of folks are more just kind of heads down doing their own thing, lost in their own adventure. Granted, who knows how many people I've walked by and they haven't realized how close an encounter they've had to getting bored to death with stories of paddling the Mississippi and hiking all over the place and yada yada. I started talking to them because they had a Pinhoti hat on, and I'm like, oh yeah, I love the Pinhoti. Really nice, pleasant trail. And she was doing it in sections and was asking about the road walk section, because you look online and there's always all sorts of fear mongering about things. And the thing is, you never know what people's backgrounds are. I have often seen the people being the most vocal online being the ones that have hiked the least, or they bailed out of their own hikes and they kind of want themselves to feel better about it. The AT always wins at marketing, but hey, Benton MacKaye's in the game too. Well, I'm pretty sure I just ran into one of the shuttle drivers from one of the B&B hostel things that didn't have room. They were picking up a large group. And yet another brief dalliance on the AT comes to an end. I don't think I see it again until Springer. I may end up doing the approach trail, depending on how things go and how expensive rooms are there. See, I thought there were blazes on the BMT section. I did, unless that's just some random ski trail or something. Okay, far out's a little wonky here, but I do believe this is me. I swear, if I've gotten here on the one day when the grill is closed again, I am going to be so sad. Okay, things are a little spread out, but it works. They gave me a hiker rate, so I should be all set. I just have to do some hoofing it around here. First thing the front desk said when I asked if they had a room is, there's a shelter you can stay at. And then I was checking in, and 2 hikers that I ran into at the shelter showed up and went, there's a shelter you can stay at. Everybody loves shelters way more than I do. But hey, food, laundry, power, at least some internet. I think my biggest fear at the moment might be, not sure if I'm going to be able to find fuel up here. Okay, that was actually surprisingly decent, if a bit pricey. There were a couple of AT section hikers I got to chat with, which was kind of fun. And then somebody, right as I was leaving, was just talking out their ass about the various dangers of, I think it was bears and wolves. Okay, so I think this is me. I tried having leftovers. I got a big salad and a big pizza, and then promptly ate everything. So maybe I'll get some more snacks when I have to walk all the way back down the hill to do laundry. Or maybe it's back here. This place is not intended for foot travel. Okay, reasonable room. Should have everything I need, but I really wish whoever decided to stop putting actual closing ceiling doors on bathrooms would quit it. And there's a view of a shrubbery. And off I go. Get another mile in and doing laundry in the middle of the night. This actually is pretty good, resupply wise. A little expensive, but kind of what you expect at resort. Okay, resupply done, laundry done. Everything else was closed, so no option to eat anything more. I think it's time to go to bed.